I paid TruGreen $1,500 to give me beautiful, lush grass. You know what I'm mowing? Weeds. Lots of weeds. The weeds were supposed to be dead, and the new grass was supposed to be growing. Let's take a look. Oh, there's my doggie. Okay, so what I want you to observe here is the pattern of the grass. You'll see like stripes in the yard. And the reason there's stripes is because the person that applied the weed killer, he was actually the second person. The first person didn't even do this part of the yard. He just walked around the edge and left. Anyway, let's not get into that. So, stripes. Stripes because the product, he walked in stripes, which is reasonable. So they have, it should be all brown, honestly. It should all be brown. And you see the higher growth of weed with the lesser high area, which was more dead, which is what it should be, more dead. So we're actually standing here in the weed zone right here. So give you an example. Look, does that look dead to you? Does this look, it doesn't look dead to me. It looks pretty green, pretty growing. Like, look how tough that is. And I don't believe that they're aerating and they're seeding. So you can see, here's the aeration right here. Let's get down here and look. So here's the aeration. So they ran their machine over it. There should be a lot of grass growing in these holes. Now, some of it, my dog wants me to throw that ball, by the way. All right, let's pause for that. Anyway, so where's the grass? Where's the grass that they just put down that should be growing and filling all this in? Oh, there it is. Here, right here. Here's some. Okay, so here's some grass, and here's some grass. Here's a little bit of grass, and here. I don't see it here. I don't see it here. I don't see it here. Definitely don't see it in this hole right here. So, I don't believe that the seeding that they did is gonna choke out the weeds. And that's what it should do. Gotta kick that ball. So I'm not happy. Like $1,500, and this is my yard. I hired them because I know that my yard's horrible with weeds, and I've tried. I did the aerating, I did the fertilizing, I did the seeding. I've done all that. Did it last year. I don't know, $500, something like that. Paying these guys $1,500. Supposed to do my trees too. Very not pleased with that. So, all right, we're gonna go inside and look at the numbers. Let's see how much losing a customer is, and if they care. All right, let's go in. So, welcome to my office. So you've seen my yard. My yard is full of weeds. I'm not happy. I'm paying for the weeding. I'm paying for the aeration, the seeding, the grubs, the trees, the shrubs, and the fertilizing. $1,500 a year. That's what they agreed to. And so my experience so far, the first guy, like I said, he just walked out and barely even sprayed anything and then left. He was here for like 10 minutes, if that. The second guy was really good. And I was very impressed with him. And he walked the pattern in the backyard that I showed you, and you can see the pattern. It's still there. I called them 3 more times, asked them to come out. They came out and sprayed no more product. So I'm not a happy customer. I just want a beautiful green yard. So let's talk some numbers real quick. Yearly cost, $1,500. I'll explain what that was for. Average lifetime based on industry standards are 3 to 4 years. honestly, I thought it was going to be 10 years. That's what I was going to originally use for my estimate. The profit margin, standard industry rates, typical 70%. And then cost to acquire, this came from AI. They suggested 30% per year of the revenue for the first year. So $450. That doesn't necessarily make sense though, right? Because a customer is a customer, and it should be a flat fee per customer, not a percent of how much you spend. So whatever, let's just call it 450, however they want to think about they, whoever the days are, right? Okay, so we're going to use $450. And then I got some customer assumptions through chat, and West Virginia, 20,000 customers. This is the largest company out there. The TruGreen is the largest grass company out there. So estimates that I saw were 2.3 million people, customers, and their attrition rate has slipped. It was like 25%. It's slipped around 30%. At least that's what they're a publicly owned company, so they have a lot of information online. I didn't do any of that research. I'll let chat do it for me. It said 30%. So we're going to take that as like good enough for the model that we're doing. We're not worrying about inflation. We're not worrying about future costs or future value of money, all that kind of stuff. This is just simple, straight math. So years of service we see on the chart here, row 11, 1 year, first year, $1,500 minus the $450, $600 profit, okay? And then we multiply that out times the national of 2.3 million, right? So you got billion, we'll call it $1.4 billion potential profit there. And then regionally, 12 million for this region. But what kind of losses are they willing to sustain because of their poor technicians that don't do what they say, and maybe the head office who doesn't force them to do it? When was the last time a VP came out and visited a yard? Like, that shouldn't be their job, by the way. But someone has to do follow through. Well, no one has to do anything, right? Clearly, they're not. They're sinking in value. Maybe we should need to short this company, because if they can't make my grass green, I'm not gonna. Next year I'm off to another contractor. Someone might see this and reach out to me. That'd be awesome. Okay, so year 4, we're gonna jump down to row 14, $6,000. That's $1,500 times 4 years minus the 450 is a profit of $3,750. That's for one customer. They don't come out every month. Like, they're making some money, right? So potentially there are $8.6 billion in profit there nationally, and regionally $75 million. And yet their potential losses are, now you're never going to have 100%. We know that. So, but boy, how awesome would it be if they only lost 10% of their customers, or 15? Like, they're at 30. Like, that is like really bad. That's if I was the president of the company, I would be like in an uproar. If I was the president of TruGreen and I saw this video right here, how some layman person isn't happy with his yard and showing the impacts, like, I hope that there's a red flag going off in their brain. I hope they have a little aneurysm or something, because it's unbelievable. So again, we're just talking the 4-year mark and potential losses of $2.5 billion, maybe $2.6 billion, regional losses of 22 million, 23 million, somewhere around there. That's a lot of money. Now, if we carry out 10 years, and I know there'd be inflation and the cost of a dollar being worth less in the future, all that kind of stuff, right? We're not fussing with all that. 10 years, which is what I was expecting, like, this is probably my retirement home. I would probably be spending $1,500 the rest of my life to keep my yard beautiful. Like, I want this most gorgeous yard. I've never had a gorgeous yard. I would love a gorgeous yard. And so it's important to me. And I like to do everything myself, but there's just sometimes you got to hire a pro. So what kind of money over 10 years are we talking? $23 billion. $23 billion nationally. $200 million regionally. What's their potential loss rate? Well, $7 billion nationally, 60 million regionally. Like, they could give themselves a lot of raises. They could pay their employees a little better if they're willing to figure out how much, if they can get their guys to do what they need to do. Now, I will say, on their defense, well, it's not really defense, but the one guy that I did actually talk to, most of the times they don't have interaction with me. I like having interaction with the people who service my house. So the one guy, he's wicked smart. He's studying online, he's taking online courses, and he's out there spraying. Again, he did come back out, but he didn't add more product. I have no idea why. So, and then the two guys that came out and did the aerating and the overseeding, they were very friendly. I saw them run their machine across the yard. They definitely ran it across the yard. I think they should have looked more carefully. Now, I could have said something, but I didn't. I think they should have looked at the holes in the yard from the aerator and been like, you know what? His yard's really hard. We need to hit this another time. Let's go across it again, right? And so I showed you some of the grass there. I mean, it is growing some grass, but again, I don't think that new grass is gonna choke out the weeds. I could be completely wrong. I've tried seeding and aerating and fertilizing, and I've not been successful. So that's why I hired them. All right, so let me know what your experiences are with your yard. Are you successful with TruGreen? Do you have a really good guy who takes care of your yard? I'd like to hear your comments. And if there's something else that you would like reviewed, I do have some plans for a yard sweeper, because I have a yard sweeper. I've had 2 yard sweepers. Well, guess what? The fact that I had 2 means that one of them didn't work, and I bought another one. So, and I'm not happy with it either. Spoiler alert. All right, leave your comments below, subscribe, all that kind of stuff if you like seeing this kind of material. All right, I gotta go.